Hello all you Hellions, and welcome or welcome back. For this week, I dove into the B section and I found several movies about killer ladies of Christmas. I had not previously seen any of these movies, which is pretty cool, and there were more than I thought. I'm going to go through them in the order I watched them. Let's get into it. I started out watching Mrs. Claus from 2018, and holy shit, the acting was horrible, really bad, deplorable from the entire cast. Anyway, a young woman wanting to get into a sorority house goes through a hazing that goes too far. She gets her revenge in a nice, gory way. This was the best part of the whole movie. And after killing her tormentor, the young woman unalives herself. 10 years later, the sister of the tormentor that was killed moves into that same sorority house. Whole new group, same horrible acting and script. Yeah. The sister, Danielle, receives a poem from Mrs. Claus. This part wasn't too bad. And then people around her start dying off. Not fast enough though. There were scenes that definitely seemed to drag on just so they could have a longer movie, in my opinion. By the way, if you hear that snoring, it's because Vincent had a rough day and he's now taking a nap. There he is. He's big boy tired. And most of the killing scenes were carried out using some form of Christmas decoration, so that was pretty cool considering this is a Christmas movie. All in all, I hated the characters. They were more annoying than anything. So this movie definitely had me rooting for Mrs. Claus. One coffin. Next up was Lady Krampus 2018. Very low budget, which does not necessarily make a bad movie. There is a death scene in the first 4 minutes and then a few more not too long after that. There's an attic, and if anybody knows me, I love me an attic. The killer is a woman, maybe, in a hospital gown wearing a mask. One thing I noticed is there doesn't seem to be a storyline. Then I find out why. The title is Lady Krampus, but after the opening sequence, a new title pops up saying Mother Krampus 2. I had not seen Mother Krampus yet because I didn't know it had a sequel, so I figured I didn't know what was going on here because I had not seen the first. That the killer in the hospital gown was a continuation of the first movie. So after the switch up in our titles, we meet our main characters, a group of misfits on their last day of community service at a soup kitchen. Again, horrible acting and horrible script. We are subjected to a horrific musical number, then the group goes caroling. They find themselves stranded for the time being and go to the murder house to ask if they can wait inside in the warmth of the house for their ride. The killer agrees and they all do chores around the house. This was their way of thanking her for allowing them in the house to get warm. It is unbelievable how long these scenes drug on. The opening 4 minutes, like I said, there were several deaths, and then nothing until at least an hour into this movie. Just a whole bunch of bitching from the whole cast. When they finally started dying off, the deaths were okay. I was really starting to question my choice in this week's video. One coffin. I then watched Mother Krampus 2017 since I had just watched what I assumed was its sequel. I expected much the same as I did from the original two I watched, just campy, horrible, nothing redeeming in it whatsoever. And I have to admit, I was pleasantly surprised. There is actually a comprehensible and interesting plot. I was still apprehensive that the movie would be any good, but actually had hope that it may be. The movie takes place in the town of Belgrave. In 1929, 12 days before Christmas, a bunch of kids go missing near the woods. There was, however, a single survivor. Before her death, she would scream, "The witch, the witch." Then, in the year 1992, days before Christmas, 5 more kids go missing. Their bodies are found in those same woods. For the last 25 years, the townfolk have been able to live in peace. Until now. I was a little bummed that the movie actually is not going to take place in 1929. I love period pieces, so that would have been cool. Oh well. it's still an interesting plot. Our first glimpse of Mother Krampus occurs in a church, where a child follows a path of candy to a pile of candy. This child is taken. Now we meet Vanessa and her daughter Amy. They are preparing to go to Alfie's house, which is Amy's grandpa, without Amy's dad, who got himself a new woman. I have to say, the acting is so much better than the first two movies I watched, and let me tell you, that was a huge relief. Come to find out, Alfie's wife left him when Vanessa was a child. Alfie's friend Leslie comes to the house to talk with Alfie. She says there are now 4 children that have gone missing. She says things like, she's back, the curse is real, and time to face our demons. Alfie is not pleased to see her. Alfie meets Leslie and a group of people at the church the next day. The witch in 1929 was named Frau Perchta, but in 1992 it was a town resident by the name of Molly. Molly's daughter was taken by the witch, so she took other children of the town. The townsfolk hung her for it. I got a Freddy feel here. Molly put a curse on those involved that would affect them and their children. Now their children are being taken. While this meeting is taking place, Molly takes another kid and strings her babysitter up, much like Silence of the Lambs. They're taking from some pretty heavy hitters here. Now, can we just take a moment to appreciate the hairless cat? I love hairless animals. They are so damn cute, and I love that they got the opportunity to put one in this movie. Just look at it. Anyway, we find out that Leslie is Vanessa's mom. When Vanessa was 3, her sister, who was 6, and who Vanessa doesn't remember, was taken by the witch. Her sister's mother was Molly. Her father strung up his wife with the help of his lover Leslie and others. Yeah, pretty twisted. When Molly arrives at Alfie's house and starts killing off the adults is when it starts to lose me, and holes to the plot start to show. That being said, I appreciated the acting, the plot, and the plot twist. Dare I say I actually enjoyed this movie? It was definitely a good one and done. And the second one, Mother Krampus 2, had absolutely nothing to do with this movie like I thought it would. 2 coffins. Next up was Granny Krampus, 2023. 2 people are killed in the opening minutes. Then we cut to sisters Leah and Ashley. Their parents were just killed in a car accident, and they are on their way to Granny's house, who they hadn't seen since they were children, for Christmas. Gran's brother Robert also lives in the house. He doesn't really speak, just mumbles, and he also sleepwalks. Gran is quite odd but seems kind. A book is found in the house that talks about Frau Perchta. Does that name sound familiar? Yes, this movie is connected to Mother Krampus. Apparently, the girls and their family are related to those that killed Molly. The sisters' cousin Charlotte, that they have never met or even heard of, meets Granny Krampus. I love the cane. I thought that was a nice little touch. Granny's son Charlie and grandson Daniel come for the annual Christmas dinner, where Charlie lets slip the whole family is cursed. The acting in this one is actually not bad. There are some interesting kills. They do a great job making Gran creepy as shit.
Good of you to join us, dear.
And it also has quite an interesting twist right at the end that I didn't see coming. Well done. 2.5 coffins. And lastly, we have Sister Krampus, 2022. 1943, World War II. 3 American soldiers violate a nun. She is then kicked out of her convent because she is now impure. The 3 soldiers are killed by Krampus, and the nun goes into the arms of Krampus, becoming his bride. Cut to present-day Australia. 2 sisters, Judy and Mary, after the death of their parents, are traveling together. They meet Esmeralda, the innkeeper. She, I found to be very annoying the first time I saw her, but she really does grow on you. And then they also saw rituals to ward off Krampus and his wife, who is rumored to be even worse than him. Sister Krampus must feed on wounded souls every Christmas to sustain her life, and she sets her sights on Judy. Mary goes to the convent, and a jump scare actually gets me. Yeah, I don't get that one either. And Mary meets Sister Krampus.
Now you see me for who I truly am, Sister Krampus. Are you not satisfied?
Judy goes to the convent looking for Mary, and she too meets Sister Krampus. Okay guys, so this movie is campy and the acting is horrible. I would say it's as bad as the first two movies that I watched, but again, I don't know why, but I actually very much liked all of these characters, including Krampus and Sister Krampus. I thought they were all very well thought out. Again, horrible script, horrible acting, but for some reason I liked it. I can't say I would ever watch it again, but it was a fun hour and a half. 2 coffins. So, Mrs. Claus and Mother Krampus 2 can go to hell. I would not recommend them to anybody. The last 3, however, I was, like I said, very pleasantly surprised. And if you are into the type of B horror movies that don't have the greatest acting but might have a pretty good plot, these might be your diamonds in the rough. So that's it for this video. If you like this content, feel free to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.